raid is complete. Razagath is dead, but even in death she claimed victory, and the damage done to the prisons holding her siblings was too much. They are free. This means that the Aspect's worst fears have come to pass. Iridikron, the eldest and most terrible of the incarnates, has returned to haunt them. Speculation is abound on what will happen next, but the truth is, Blizzard has already told us, if you just know where to look. Let's go through the information we have, and stay to the end to hear how this expansion's biggest reveal could just be on the horizon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come, take a seat by the fire. It starts then, with the cutscene preceding the death of Razagath in the Vault of the Incarnates, where the Aspects realize that it is too late. Iridikron and the others are already free, and it is mentioned that his connection to the earth element will be able to shield them. But we believe we have already found a location where his lair will be made. The first clue comes from Tajin the Blind. He is an elder djaradin located on the western mountains of the Waking Shore. He gives you stories of the djaradin histories, once you prove your worth. While he is worthy of an entire video dedicated just to him, I would like to instead focus on the tale of the elders. This tale will become all too familiar soon enough, descending into the depths beneath the Dragon Isles only to return changed. What price did they pay for this power, I wonder? This, however, leads us to the next breadcrumb laid for us, to the zone of Thaldraszus, to the east in the shadow of the great city of Valdrakken. I am of course talking about the reservoir of Uldurus. When we first encounter this area, it has been attacked and ravaged by primalist forces. We come to the aid of a Refti and a Watcher that was safeguarding the area. The most unusual part of this quest, however, is that the most pressing matter does not seem to be the attack itself. It is instead the reinstitution of 3 wards that were placed here long ago by Tyr. We are told that the Dragon Isles has always had anomalous elemental activity, and this area in specific seemed to warrant such extreme lengths to contain it. As we discussed in previous videos concerning the nature of the infused water, we said that it would be a base elementally infused water that was then charged with arcane or order magic in order to produce effects. It is likely Tyr chose this very site to build his fortress and the water purification facility due to the presence of this elemental anomaly. Lastly, we have the excerpt from the lore books of Uldaman, in specific the one concerning the anomaly AR938. While the dwarf connection is interesting, I would instead like to focus on the geological anomaly part of this. It is this very phenomena we believe is underneath the Uldurus facility, a being or artifact of unimaginable elemental power. Alexstrasza mentioned that Iridikron made deals with terrible forces. Now we can already guess what those terrible forces were. What would have the power to oppose the Titans? Something capable of empowering Iridikron enough to challenge the Aspects. We are of course talking about the long speculated old gods in this area. Would like to clarify, however, I do not believe that Yogg-Saron or the old gods had a hand in the djaradin empowerment, and I do not think they are the elemental power that lies down there. I do believe that they were feeding upon it at one time, however, hence the overt connections. Our current speculation is as follows. Down in the darkness, where the anomaly was found slumbering, one of the primordial elements, a source of power from the days when the world was young, when the elements ruled before Shadow or the Pantheon even arrived. When the old gods won their war of subjugation over the elements, these ancient veins of world-souled power were the prime feasting targets. Slowly they would feast on the energies. This feeding frenzy is what spurred on many of the wars between the old gods of the Black Empire. They all coveted power, and so lines were drawn and warred endlessly for control of these locations of coalescing power. It was Yogg-Saron who controlled this particular location and drew from it until the time of his imprisonment. His first gambit of creating a powerful dragon to end the Titan's reign ultimately failed when Galakrond was defeated and his plot of infusing the water with his blood discovered. He would seek new means. This is where Iridikron and his siblings came in. Iridikron was power hungry and desperate, just enough to make any deal, and so a plan was hatched. Yogg would grant them a portion of this stolen elemental power, transforming them into beings of terrible strength. But the cleverness of these ancient ones will never cease to amaze. They did not place all their faith in these incarnates. They would only be useful tools. If they could empower them, just enough to cause as much destruction as would be necessary to push Neltharion over the edge, to start him along the dark path they foresaw. Iridikron will be even more desperate now with Yogg-Saron's defeat. He will be seeking power at any cost. This will lead him inevitably towards the ancient power source once more, but it has been a long time since he sought this out, and the race of Earthen that has been building a civilization here for at least 10,000 years. They will likely prove resistant to a dragon attempting to usurp a power source from them, even one as powerful as Iridikron. But there are rumours that the 4 djaradin elders are not dead, once defeated, but not destroyed. Like the Kalashi, they could be persuaded to join the Incarnate's cause, if it meant the destruction of their ancient enemies. The new underground zone data mined for 10.1 is where all of this will take place. We believe that it will have us joining a complex battle being fought on many fronts. The changed earthen remnants fortifying their position, the primalists led by the incarnates assaulting them at all costs to control the power source. The scythed and other insectoids have been disturbed by the sudden violence. These descendants of the Aegir have awoken once more and threaten to swarm to the surface, which leads to our introduction. We must gain the trust of the Earthen that have been separated from the world for so long, likely through a new renown faction. We will end up pressing the assault on the incarnates, with our newfound allies leading us to the next raid. All the while the scythed threat has been growing on the sidelines, we find huge caverns of a substance much like saronite, which we find out is spurring along this mad assault. Okay, that last sentence was mostly wishful thinking, but it would be amazing if we got to at least see seams of saronite within the underground zone. A nice callback, and would allow for some more speculation. What do you think? Is there something we missed? Or do you agree? Let us know in the comments, or even on the Discord. Oh, and don't forget to come back anytime.